Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ms. Roney Reads. This week we are celebrating Indigenous Literacy Day. That is a chance to celebrate the incredible, diverse, and rich stories of our First Nations people here in Australia. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the first chapter of Top End Girl by Miranda Tapsell. Let's have a look at the blurb and see if you're keen. As a young Larrakia Tiwi girl, Miranda Tapsell always felt like an outsider. Growing up, she looked for faces like hers on our screens. There weren't many, and too often there was a negative narrative around First Nations lives and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women especially. As she got older, Miranda stopped expecting that others would help change things and set about doing something herself. Combining her pride in her Aboriginality and passion for romantic comedies with her love of Darwin and the Tiwi Islands and the Top End, Miranda co-wrote, produced and starred in the box office hit Top End Wedding. In this engaging memoir, Miranda shares the path she took to acting and how her role in The Sapphires and then in Love Child inspired her to create a film about coming back to family and country. And it would turn out that as she was writing this romantic and funny film, her own romantic story was unfolding. This deadly, ballad-loving rom-com nerd also asks us all to open up our minds and our hearts to the importance of community and culture. In doing so, Miranda shows us how we will all be richer for it. Now, I read this book a while ago. This book was actually a birthday present for me from one of my friends, and I loved it. Read it so quickly. It was one of those bingeable books. So let's see if you would enjoy reading it too. Prologue. If you leave me now, you'll miss it all. Hello. Who the hell co-writes, produces, and acts in a film about a wedding in the same year they're having their own wedding? Well, me. One of my best friends, Alicia, who is going to be one of my bridesmaids, once said to me, "Miranda, you always pick the hardest path. We've known each other since we were 5, so sometimes I have to admit she knows me better than I know myself." Alicia and I met on the first day of year 1 at the school in Jabiru, a small mining town in Kakadu National Park up in the Northern Territory. When I found out we were both in the newbies of the class, I immediately proclaimed we were best friends. I know, it's terrible that I forced her to be my friend back then, and all these years later my bridesmaid. I'm a monster. But she is right, and now I'm also writing a book about this crazy year, among other things. I never thought I'd write a film, let alone a book, so I do make things challenging for myself. Inspirational memes often make me roll my eyes, but I saw one on social media that said good things happen to babes who hustle. Turns out I'm 100% that babe, the one who hustles constantly. Look at me trying to make things happen. A wedding, a film about a wedding, now a book about a film about a wedding. I am very flattered if you have these pages in your hot little hands. Major brownie points go to you if you actually bought it. If someone has lent you the book and told you, you have to read this, then they also rule. I'm very touched when I meet people who followed my career as an actor. I put my heart and soul into what I do, so it's touching when I learn how much enjoyment people have gotten from my work. But it's also humbling to be reminded that my acting career isn't the centre of everyone's universe. "You look familiar," is something I hear often, and people sometimes ask, "Have we met before? Have I seen you in something?" When strangers figure out that I'm not just the girl they knew from school, but someone with a profile, they often beg me to tell them what they've seen me in. I give them a cheeky smile and say, "It'll come back to you." I kind of like leaving them hanging, and I don't want to blow my own trumpet. It can be a shock to the old ego if someone asks for a photo with you after realizing they haven't watched anything you've done. But that's all part of the hustle, baby. I think the most embarrassing experience was when I finally decided to jog someone's memory. A woman working in an opportunity store had asked me where she'd seen me before, and I admitted that I was in a film called The Sapphires. She replied with a very levelling, "Oh, rightio, I didn't mean that. I thought you'd serve me at Coles. So you're an actor, eh? That must be fun." Listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with working at a supermarket, and the woman must have had a really compelling conversation with the actual person who served her at the checkout. I wonder what they covered in the short time her groceries were being scanned. It was obviously memorable. The truth is, I'm living my dream, and even when I'm mistaken for an old school friend or the checkout chick, I am thrilled that somehow my face has registered with them. I love what I do and the life that I am living. And it is not only my career that has given me that sense of joy. I've also been living my own real life rom-com. I'm going to tell you all about that, and a man named James as well. Sharing my story is important. I haven't always been confident enough to hold my space in life or on the stage, to believe I could write a film, produce a film, step out from behind a role, and risk making mistakes to hold open the door for others behind me, just as actors such as Aaron Pedersen, Deborah Mailman, and Leah Purcell forged a path I could follow. I think it is true that you don't aspire to be what you cannot see. I would like this book to show you that you can push yourself to do things you never dreamed you would do. For that shy young woman who doesn't fit the typical casting beliefs, to put her talent on the line and make casting directors change their mind. For writers and producers and filmmakers to see the real place we now call Australia and the people who make up that picture. For this book to inspire others to chase what they want and to stay true to themselves in the process. I have moments in my life that have challenged me, where others have tried to define me because of where I'm from, the colour of my skin, my values, my gender, and my physical appearance. Growing up, it was performing that made me feel really empowered, knowing what I wanted out of my life, even if it was working in an industry full of uncertainty. I had a new appreciation of who I saw in the mirror. This new sense of purpose became a form of armour as I stepped into the adult world. It began to bother me less if people implied, even if they were joking, that me being short, Aboriginal, and female was some kind of detriment to who I was. While this in no way changes the way policy or law continue to affect Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, I finally had a reason to get out of bed. It was a good start. I realised after drama school that staying true to the essence of what makes you unique is how people can end up casting you. While I can't change bigger social issues as an actor, I found that performing was a way of subverting the negative perceptions people had placed on people like me. It's no small thing that women, particularly young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women, have felt validated because they are seeing someone who looks, thinks, and feels the way they do. My parents always encouraged me to stay true to who I am and to hold fast to the fact that being Aboriginal is something to be proud of. And so, to all those young black kids reading this who think they don't fit, who are made to feel ashamed of who they inherently are, please know that this Aboriginal woman has been where you are, and I know how far you can go. Believe in yourself. So settle in and let's begin. No refunds. Oh, I love this book. I love Miranda's writing style. It's so engaging. Please let me know if you would like to borrow my copy of Top End Girl by Miranda Tapsell. I would love to hear your thoughts. And thank you very much for listening. See you next time.